Hi, this is Lost in Creation with Saz Ross, and today we are highlighting a visual artist. His name is Michael Albert, and he is one incredible visual artist who's impacted the community in so many ways. Hi, Michael. I want you to share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background.
Well, thanks so much for having me. This is wonderful. My name's Michael Albert. I'm a artist and an author. I live in New York, just outside of New York City in White Plains. This is my book. It's called An Artist's America, and it is an artist's autobiography that came out about 10 years ago. And ever since it came out, it ended up in a lot of library collections, and a lot of art teachers got copies of it. And I developed this traveling art program where I go around to schools, libraries, and museums and talk about art and teach art. And it's been a great thing that developed out of making art. You know, I never thought that by making art, it would turn into this traveling teaching kind of thing. But I guess the type of art that I'm mostly known for is making art out of cereal boxes. And I didn't start as a collage artist. I started drawing. You know, when I first started thinking about art and started being interested in art and realizing that I could experiment and make my own art, I drew. I spent years drawing. This is a drawing I made, I don't know if you could see it well, of me on my bed in college, drawing all the things that were in my room. But so I spent years drawing, and it kind of eventually evolved into collaging. And I guess I'm 53 years old, so I've been making art now since I'm about 19. So I've been making art for over 30 years.
Wow, that's so
And
incredible.
I think in 1996 is when I made my first collage out of a cereal box, and that really turned my art into this new direction. And it's been since then I've really I think when you come up with something new, you don't immediately stop doing what you were doing, you know. But so little by little I started doing collaging out of packaging more and more until I do that mostly now. And once the book came out in 2008, I started getting calls from schools and libraries saying, "Hey, this is a really accessible art form. Can you come and work with our kids or our
How
people?"
many schools have you done, Michael?
Well, believe it or not, since about 2010, I've gone to almost 1,000 schools and libraries. I
Oh,
mean,
God.
this summer alone, I mean, because of the unique situation we're in right now,
Right,
the tour is going to not happen because most venues are not having in-person programming
right.
this summer. But I had over 100 programs scheduled in 15 states,
That is remarkable. And
in-
it seems like,
including Baltimore. I was supposed to come to Baltimore to do a couple programs at Baltimore County Libraries.
yes. Well, Michael, I don't know if you know this, but I'm from New York. I'm actually from outside of Queens in a place called Syosset.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yes. So that's where I'm initially from, but I've been in Baltimore for 10 years. So it's amazing to see the work that you've done within the time frame that you've been in the community and doing your own stuff. And what I'm going to have you do right now is screen share so that we can get a sneak peek into your Pinterest page. And I want you to highlight one of the most favorite things that you've ever done on that page right now. Can we do it?
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right. Here's the share screen. Yeah. So I discovered Pinterest. Um, here's my Pinterest.
So
And I discovered Pinterest a few years ago, and I find that it's an amazing tool for me because I work in a lot of different themes, and it's been a great way for me to organize my work. I have over 4,000 pins. You know, some people use Pinterest as a way to collect things and images and projects and
right.
ideas, but mine is really just a way to organize my own work. So I have all these different sections. I have drawings that I did. I have cereal box collages. I have text-based works. If I have to pick one thing to show you now, I have American flags I make out of red, white, and blue packages. I like doing quotes. I like learning about things and then picking a quote and doing text-based collages. Let me think. I think maybe I'll show you my map of the United States. Where
Let's
is
see it.
it? Yeah, because sometimes I like working on these. Like I could show you right now. Sometimes I work on small pieces. Like here's an original. It says flatten the curve. Can you see that?
Yeah, you got a little tiny one right there. I
Yeah,
love
so
it.
I do work on a lot of small pieces, and I love creating and piecing together little bits and pieces of things to make something. And I always sign the back of my work and date it and give it a title and say where I was and what time it was. And I really keep track of my work in that way.
Right.
But sometimes I work on these large pieces. Oh, I don't know what happened. Hello?
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, I don't know how that happened, but
No, that's okay.
so sometimes I work on these large scale pieces that take months and months, and even sometimes up to a year.
Wow.
Right now, I'm working on a map of the world because of this global situation we're in, and I've been doing these Facebook Live sessions working on this 32 by 40-inch map of the world. But I'll show you my map of the USA collage. Let me see if it gets bigger. There. Can you see that?
Let's wait a second. Yes. Oh my goodness. That is so
So,
amazing. And I see Oreo. I'm looking at the things that are familiar to me. Cheerio boxes. That's
but
so
this is a big collage. It's here. I could show you the actual size of it. This is a poster of it.
Oh my gosh. What are the dimensions of the original?
Like 26 by 28
That's interesting.
inches.
That's
Or maybe it's even longer than that. Might be like 26 by 32, I think it is.
wow.
So it's a big piece. And I spelled out all the states, many different cities, and other landmarks, and arranged them all geographically. Even though it's all crammed together, you can kind of see Oregon's here, Florida's down there, New York and the East Coast is up there. I'm from
Yeah.
Long Island too. I'm from Woodmere.
Okay, I know exactly where you are. Yes.
Yeah, so we're both from Nassau County. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's so cool.
But,
All right.
but the idea of working on a piece, just going back to it every day for hours at a time and having this vision of some larger idea and then bringing it into existence is, something I'm really into.
That is so incredible. And the results that you get out of it are just so beautiful and detailed. This Pinterest page, I hope anyone watching takes a look at this and, really gets a closer glimpse at Michael's work, because it truly is phenomenal, and it's amazing to see the scale that you have with it as well. So let's get off screen share, and we're going to talk a little bit about your impact in the community, and some of the projects that you've worked on in particular that have tugged at your heartstrings. So talk to me a little bit more about your impact with teaching and bringing this to other people in
Well,
schools and communities.
yeah, it's really, making art is just something I really love to do. And I never would have guessed that it was going to turn into going out into the community and making art with all sorts of people all over the country. I've even been invited to Europe a number of times to teach at schools. And I guess because it's such an accessible art form, we all have these packages at home. These packages are the byproduct of our consumer culture, and the idea of using something that we already have lying around that has this meaning to us. It's something we eat or something we consume or something that we like already.
Right.
Being able to just turn it into something else rather than just throw it into the trash. I mean, that's a whole nother issue, you know. But
Yeah. This is a rebirth. You're recycling in such a profound and unique way, and that really speaks for itself. It does. And when you look
well,
at your art.
I like to think that, these companies spend all this time and money to get us to know their brand. And really the goal for them is to get us to buy their brand. But I like taking all of that, you know, effort and energy and using it to express things that are meaningful to me. And also it's just fun. To me, it's therapeutic and relaxing to just kind of cut and paste and not have anything specific that you have to do, and see what it turns into, and kind of let your mind wander, and getting out into the world and meeting people, and especially in the library or in a school or in a museum. You're generally meeting people who are interested in learning, interested in,
Right.
allowing themselves to be creative for a period of time, stepping outside of their everyday routine and doing something different like this. And so it's been such an amazing journey for me. And I discovered that libraries all have these summer reading programs
Right.
where kids and families come to the library to learn and do interesting activities and just keep the brain going when, off school, when the school year is out. And so I've really developed that to a high degree, where I've, just get in my car, load my car up with cereal boxes and scissors and glue. And I have posters printed of many of my works. And I send posters to the libraries in advance so they can make a display and say, hey, this artist from New York is coming here on such and such a date, and we're all going to make art together. And, I have to drive because, I have all my stuff with me. So it's really a way to see the country, meet people, and try to share this project. And one thing that's really amazing to me is that I can work with 4 and 5 year olds as well as senior citizens doing the same project with the same materials. And, sometimes it's mixed ages, but I mean, I've worked with kids as young as 2 and 3 years old, where we're just kind of like
Yes.
filling in bubble letters of their name with little scraps
Little hand.
or
I'm sure it gives them so much confidence. And coming from an art education background, let me tell you, the art of collage, if you want to get anyone from pre-K to an angsty teenager to do something and feel confident about it, collage is such a great vehicle for that, because I feel like with picking up the pieces and orienting them in a way that is unique, it provides the students with a voice. And those pieces have already, even though they've already been colored, just the fact that they get to place them in, positions and or arrange them the way they want to do it, it really gets them to feel a sense of initiative. And I can't even describe it. It's amazing to see their faces light up when they do it. So you can see that it just brings a sense of joy to the student, and in the process of art making it creates
yeah.
such a
Yeah, I mean, I never one
yeah.
when I first started doing this, my first cereal box collage was just taking a box, cutting it up into pieces, and then putting the pieces back together in a random kind of a way. And I thought, that this was almost like, you know, Andy Warhol meets Picasso. Look, these are Cheerio boxes.
Yes.
It's beautiful,
Like
and it's
cubist.
familiar, and it's simple, and I just thought, wow, this is some serious art, and I just kept going with it. But I met this older couple at one of my first shows, and I always remember this gentleman said to me, he said, this is great and everything, but I think that this is leading somewhere where you can't possibly imagine. And I think the interacting with the world in this way is what he meant by that, because I couldn't imagine that it would turn into this, you know, opportunity to go all over the place, meeting people and working with people, and having art be this common thing we all do together. So it's been a great journey, and this new virtual way of communicating and sharing is the next phase, really.
It is. And I really hope that you reinvent the way that you reach your audience and students and all the people that are, wanting to participate in this type of art making. I'm really hoping that, you can transition and transform this art as we move through this very uncertain time. But aside from that, thank you for sharing that beautiful story of the man that said that to you, because these are the things that stick with us for life and it fuels us to do what we do. So thank you, Michael. I'm so appreciative of you and for you being on Lost in Creation. Where can people find you? What's the best space on the interwebs for people to look you up and find more about you?
Well, I have a website, michaelalbert.com, and that has some information and links, and it has my whole schedule, of places I'm going to be. My Pinterest board is a great way to see many examples of my work, organized, by different themes I've done. I have a few videos out there on YouTube. I've been working on a documentary, having a gentleman I met along the way who kind of has come to a bunch of my events and filmed them. And we did a trailer called Michael Albert American Pop Artist that you could find on YouTube. I had brought my program to the Smithsonian a few years ago and did my workshop there, and they interviewed me and did a really good quality professional interview that you could find. I think if you do Smithsonian Collage Michael Albert, you'll see that. And I guess Googling me. I have a Facebook.
Okay, so we can look you up on Facebook and Pinterest. You have a website.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited, and I hope anyone watching takes the time to really look you up and see what you're about, and possibly even bring you into their community, because as you can see, it really does bring everyone together in such a unique and beautiful way. So thank you again, Michael, and I hope you stay well during this crazy time that's going on.
Yeah. I did want to just say one last thing, is that because
Sure.
since my summer tour has kind of been changed, I have been recording video demonstrations of several of my projects, which libraries and museums are going to be posting because they're all looking for virtual content now.
Right.
So I'm doing. I did a series of video demos of 3 or 4 different projects that I've developed that people can do at home. And the other thing is to do a live workshop session, which I've done with a few venues, where maybe 15 or 20 kids and their parents are on the Zoom call, and we're all making a project together. So, if anybody's interested in that, all my contact information is on my website. And, that's just another way that I've been kind of trying to do it a little different.
Well, let's have everybody, get in on this, and we can all make some art together at home, and we'll do a collage from cereal boxes. I can think of so many students that I've had who would so enjoy doing that. So if anything, yes, please look him up. Let's have this go virtual and create a whole new space for you to do this with people and their families in various communities. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming on Lost in Creation, and I hope you have an amazing, wonderful, beautiful day.
Thank you. Great chatting with you. Bye-bye.
Bye.